All right, Richie Mars, if Rhea Ripley was like at a 10 as a women's champion, out of 10, what would you put Becky Lynch right now? Out of buzz, creativity, aura, popularity, whatever.
Like currently?
Yeah.
Becky Lynch is in that Rock 2002 kind of pattern
Okay.
where she's already been over for such a long amount of time and there hasn't been any dramatic shift to her character that people are kind of numb to it. So she is still perpetually over. But in comparison to Rhea currently, maybe like like if you want to talk about like a subsection of the audience online, it's probably like at like a 4. But
Yeah.
overall, if you go by the main crowds, you probably like comparison to Rhea. If Rhea's a 10, Becky's not that far behind, so maybe like a 8 or a 9. So
Yeah, I would probably say like a 5 or like a 6, maybe 7. Good,
yeah,
very good. Just a little long in the tooth. Do you feel that the man persona is kinda seeing its better days, or do you kind of allude to The Rock 2002 where
Mhm.
in 2003, The Rock became Hollywood Rock? Do you think Becky has something like that in her? I know she did the Big Time Bex thing, and I was a defender of that because I thought it was really
Mhm.
good, but she was in a different role. She was
Right.
a heel champion trying to grasp on for straws. Now she's like in a nostalgia legacy role, which I don't necessarily think that she should be or is ready for, so to speak. I think she has plenty more to kind of do within the WWE, as I assume she will get a new contract sooner rather than later. So, what's your overall feeling on Becky Lynch? What's going on with her?
Again, she's in the weird holding pattern because if you remember like post like invasion with Rock and Austin,
Yep.
even though there was like things left for them to do, creative just didn't really have much in the way of new stories for them to tell. And you notice they left shortly after that because one,
Yeah.
Rock's Hollywood career was blowing up, and two, Austin left. So you're kind of like in this wave of if you don't take some time off, then you're just going to be stale if you're portraying the same persona. I mean, look at he switched it recently, but look at Jericho and AEW.
Yeah.
Doing the whole learning tree thing, and you have to find yourself that way. I do like that they paired Becky with Lyra, one
Yeah.
to introduce Lyra to the audience who don't watch NXT, two like for us who watch NXT occasionally. We know that Becky and Lyra have history in NXT during the NXT title run, which people liked Becky for, but for some reason, when she's the world champion, apparently now it's a problem. But I could see it just because again, Becky loses at Mania, puts over Rhea, and then Rhea's out with an injury, and then Becky wins the title. So it kind of feels like a just kind of like a holding pattern, that kind of term. And I think people were disappointed that Liv didn't win, but again, you have other people who are still getting used to Liv being back on the main roster. Again, she only returned at the Rumble, and
Yeah.
her character arc didn't truly begin until probably a couple weeks before Mania. So
Yeah.
now we're still getting used to that whole thing. And with the man, you can still have the man character, but if you don't change up the scenarios that they're in, then that's when it becomes repetitive and stale. Like look at John Cena when he was the face of the company. You can like go through 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, and you could see like John Cena acts the same exact way in every single program. With Becky, she's kind of getting into that area where it's just like the man has come around to insert town here, and there's not really much substance to that, at least as of yet. But the thing is, it's like once you're on the top of the mountain, people want to find any excuse to knock you down. So I feel like because Becky Lynch's reign is almost kind of like going through the motions a little bit,
That's the word. Yeah.
and since Rhea and Liv is more the match that people want to see, but Rhea's obviously not here, it's already an uphill climb. And add in the fact that people who do know that Becky Lynch's contract is coming up relatively soon, like I feel like that puts less excitement into the result depending on like who wins and who loses, because people are like, oh, Becky's contract is coming loose, so it looks like she's losing the championship, and I feel like people are already mentally prepared for the championship switch.
I think it's kind of a good move, even though Becky's kind of like a lukewarm champion. Still think it was a good move in retrospect to have Liv win on a, I guess, bigger stage
Mhm.
and a more meaningful match like a King and the Queen pay-per-view match against Becky, opposed to a kind of like battle royal win, right? Because her
Mhm.
first win was kind of silly with Money in the Bank with Ronda and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
for her, and she was a babyface at the time. And Becky actually, to kind of loop back to earlier, Becky did a good job of elevating her back at day one, back at the end of Monday Night Raw in December 2021, of really getting her ready for that summer push in 2022. And we kind of in those shoes again here
Mhm.
in 2024, where Liv struggles a lot at times, especially last night on Monday Night Raw. I felt that like, I don't know if she's trying to work out the kinks of her new character. I don't know if she's try to find her footing as a heel. I don't know what she's trying to do, but I felt that she was kind of missed last night. And I understand that could have been by design a little bit, but I feel that I don't know. She usually hits singles, and last night she didn't really hit really much, in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't mind Liv. I don't understand where like the Liv stands come from with her being like the best, but I think that there's definitely something there with
Mhm.
Liv. What's your overall feelings on Liv Morgan?
I think she has unlimited potential. It's obvious why WWE keeps giving her opportunity after opportunity because she does have that drawing power. And if you notice, like there are wrestlers who, before they get pushed, gain like a cult following,
Yeah,
so to speak, and they're like,
he
"Oh,
has
we
that.
want this person pushed, we want a person pushed." Liv Morgan has that, which is not always easy to have. It's just that when people receive the push or get that push, then you have the trouble of fans who wanted it going like, "No, we wanted the push, but we didn't want it like this." You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I
So
hate that.
it's yeah,
Yeah,
and it's like because it's not what I imagined. This is not the scenario I want Liv pushed, and I think a lot of people are used to scrappy like underdog babyface Liv because she does well in that role. She hasn't been a proven commodity as a singles heel yet, and it's one of those deals where you kind of have to wait and see how she performs as a heel. Personally, I think she's doing a fine job right now, but again, she hasn't been given much meat on the bone, so to speak. Like the feud that everyone wants to see Liv in is Rhea, and
yeah,
Rhea's out for this undisclosed amount of time. The Liv Becky Lynch story, it's not really hitting with me. I tried to figure out why it wasn't hitting with me because the story is there from the past and stuff like that. But I
yeah,
think because of the cloudedness of the Liv Revenge tour, has kind of erased their history. It's almost like it never even happened. And that's kind of shocking, at least to me, during this new era of creative, because it was like callback city for a long amount of time. And like there have been passing mentions, but you need to like put that stamp of like Liv can't beat Becky Lynch. This is like you have to get this weight off her shoulders by beating her at King and Queen in the ring. And I just feel that Liv is not given wasn't really given much in the ways of character. Like she was given little things like the attack that injured Rhea Ripley, the taunting Rhea Ripley when she was vacating the championship, the bailing on the ring during the whole damage control thing. It's like heel 101. But the thing is, it's like she's heel, but she didn't have like a hard turn.
yeah,
She just like kind of seamlessly went into that role, which can work. But since it wasn't emphatically just like, hey, Liv's a heel now, but she still kind of had like babyface tendencies, but like still like a heel, all things considered. It's just a little muddled for now, especially because with Rhea out, hypothetically, if she moves on from Becky after this, we don't know who an obvious challenger for her is. And for me, I'm always looking at what's next for XYZ when this person wins or loses. And with Liv, I struggle to find who would be the logical next person.
Queen of the Ring winner, Lyra, perhaps.
Mhm.
But anyways, let's just this revenge tour thing. It's kind of like she's that plucky. You said that you kind of not really connecting with the character. It's a soft turn. To me, it feels like she's like that pre-hormonal teen that did like a heel turn on her little sister and just like starts pushing her and pulling her hair and just being that plucky teenager that's just rude and crude and doesn't understand what's going on. And then
Mhm.
perhaps then she grows into the woman that she is, when before she was that child, that, that cute little child, innocent, unsure, and always fighting from underneath. Oh, weird transitions for Liv, but I think she'll be all right. I actually kind of think she wins this match on
Mhm.
Saturday at King and Queen of the Ring. What say
Mhm.
you, Richie?
I think she does win. Again, everything kind of depends on if Becky Lynch has signed a new contract or doesn't sign a new contract. I do think Liv will win from Becky. The question is it on King and Queen in the Ring? I think she does, and I think it would be some fun storytelling depending on when this person recovers. If Raquel Rodriguez is kind of
Mhm.
Liv Morgan's heater a little bit,
Yeah.
because then you have two people who have it out for Rhea Ripley. Because if you remember last year, Rhea and Raquel had their beef and deal,
Hmm.
and before that, Raquel and Liv, they were tag champions together. So again, it's one of those long-term story deals where you kind of elevate Liv and you have someone who is a partner to her. So then her title reign becomes a little bit more believable. It's the Shawn Michaels Diesel effect where she could just hide behind Raquel. And Raquel is so much more than a heater. But if Raquel is just like, recently cleared because she had the condition, like give her a minimal role just so she can like kind of get the reps back in again. Not only in the ring, but to be reintroduced to the audience with this whole Liv Morgan revenge tour and just go off to the races from there.
Yeah, this revenge tour does fit into Becky, because also she couldn't overcome that mountain that I talked about a little bit earlier at the start of 2022.
Mhm.
And she can still kind of put that revenge tour gimmick towards defeating Becky Lynch. And Raquel can come into the revenge tour and fit in just like you said. But the revenge tour is also ultimately made for Rhea Ripley, and she started her revenge by taking her out. So perhaps I would save Raquel for that big Rhea match if it's close. Who knows? It's both injuries are kind of disclosed, so I
Mhm.
would perhaps save Raquel for that big Rhea match when it would happen. Maybe SummerSlam. I'm not sure how long with the injuries, but as a kind of feather in the hat to kind of be like, oh, I'm still on my revenge tour. You have to go on yours now, and now I got Raquel. So
Mhm.
yeah. All right, Richie Mars, what is going on in the world of Retold and Relived with Richie Mars? What is the episode for today, Tuesday?
Today is I have a wonderful guest. He's called Wrestling and Coffee, Alex. He's on TikTok, Instagram, I believe, on there that handle. And we talked about the Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson feud of 2013 up to the match he had at WrestleMania, and why it was the right feud at the wrong time because
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan was super over, super hot, and originally there were some things going on where Daniel Bryan didn't figure into the plans of WrestleMania, joins the Wyatt family, was meant to be a part of that whole Bray Wyatt John Cena thing, but then the Yes movement kind of took over, and they
Oh,
had to
God.
like they had to cut the cord from it a little bit. So again, it did a lot to elevate Bray, but again, it was one of those things where it was consistently inconsistent, if that makes sense. So we just kind of break
Oh,
down that whole feud going on. We also have episodes on the Ruthless Aggression Cruiserweight division. We have episodes on, if I'm remembering correctly, just like the WrestleMania Hangover season, how to get over
mhm.
the WrestleMania Hangover with my good friend Hot Take Wrestling. And we just have a bunch of other miscellaneous episodes. You were on an episode, in fact, about
That
the
it was?
making the single night WrestleManias of the early 30s into 2 night WrestleManias.
That I was.
And again, one of my favorite episodes. I implore everybody to check it out. Wrestling Retold and Relived with Richie Mars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, I'm on the TikTok at Retold Richie Mars. New content every day about current day wrestling.
Awesome. All right, Richie, we'll catch you on the next one for sure, buddy.
Thank you for having me.